Hey folks, Kevin Mitchell here from SelectButton.com. Just got finished playing Tales of the Borderlands demo here prior to heading over to New York Comic Con. I'm joined today by Job from Telltale Games. Say hi.
Hey guys.
So, what can you tell us about this game? I know the first episode, as you guys always do, it's going to be episodic content.
Yep.
The first one's coming fall sometime. We don't have an exact
so
date.
we don't have an exact release date yet. It will be premiering sometime later this fall. If you're familiar with Telltale Games, The Walking Dead, or The Wolf Among Us, you know that these episodes will drop and then they'll roll out over the next few months until we get about 5 episodes out. We have a 5-episode season of Tales from the Borderlands planned, which actually takes place after the events of Borderlands 2. So if you're a big Borderlands fan and you're excited for Borderlands the pre-sequel, you know that the story actually goes Borderlands 1, pre-sequel, Borderlands 2, and then we're the story after Borderlands 2, Tales from the Borderlands.
Because that's not confusing enough, you know. Half things were not really in the right order.
It's a big franchise. I think you can say that.
Definitely, I definitely agree with you on that. What can you tell us about the story? What can we expect? I know in the regular Borderlands, you kind of play as the Vault Hunters going after Handsome Jack. You know, spoilers from the second game here. But in this game, you kind of play as Reese, who's a kind of a data miner, works for Hyperion, as well as Fiona, who's kind of a greedy con artist person. So these aren't really heroes as you would normally describe them.
No, they're not necessarily heroes. They're not necessarily Vault Hunters, but one of the big themes in Borderlands is greed. And whether you're a Vault Hunter or not, pretty much everyone is out to strike it rich and really make it big. So you're playing these two different characters, Reese again, data miner, and Fiona. At the start, they're kind of both telling their side of this crazy story, but eventually it's sort of going to come together and you're just going to play as both as the scenes play along. It takes place on Pandora. This is after certain things happen to Handsome Jack. But the thing is Handsome Jack will actually be a big part of this story. How that's going to work, I don't want to spoil that for you either. But again, these two are really just trying to make it big. She wants off this rock and wants to get off Pandora. He wants to get really out of the Hyperion system, or at least be at the top of it, and get out of being, you know, middle management and not really getting the recognition he deserves. And how this all happens, it's just something you gotta play and you gotta see.
So speaking back to the narrative, would you describe it as kind of like a Fish Stories, Fresh Tales?
Yeah.
No, this is how they kind of really went.
Yeah, that's kind of how it starts out. Is they're both kind of telling the story of how this botched vault key deal went down, and Reese from Hyperion, one of his co-workers gets this big promotion, and it's this guy Vasquez, played by Patrick Warburton. He's actually a huge jerk, and they find out that Vasquez has a deal set up down on Pandora for a vault key with this guy August, played by Nolan North, actually. And they go down, they're trying to get this key, and Reese is telling this story. And it gets to a certain point, and Fiona will jump in and call total BS on Reese, and then you'll start to hear kind of things from her perspective. And that's going to play out a little bit, but then some other surprises are going to happen. We're doing a lot of different kind of narrative tricks, and it's just got a very kind of fast-paced, dark sci-fi comedy feel to it that's 100% Borderlands, and just kind of has this feel that's somewhere between, you know, Tarantino and Edgar Wright.
Can you expand upon, I know most of the Telltale games don't really use inventory systems that much. You have like collect items maybe for a puzzle, but I know in the demo we kind of picked up some cash. I just wonder what could we do with that cash and how it's going to play into the game.
Yeah, so you know, as you're exploring certain environments in the game, it's not, you know, a big open, you know, first-person shooter, and it's not about loot, 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 but the characters are greedy and there are opportunities to loot. So maybe you'll grab some money in a box you find in the ground. If you have that money later on in the story, that could be useful to have that cash on hand. If you don't have that money, you're going to miss out. Maybe you'll have to do something repulsive to certain characters to try and get what you want. Or maybe you're going to have to fast talk them, or maybe you're going to have to do other things with or without certain cash you might have on hand. Yeah, you know, like a lot of Telltale games, there's going to be certain things you'll have in your kind of inventory light, and cash is a big part of that.
Now, maybe we can expand upon how this kind of came about. I know Claptrap was in Poker Night 2.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I don't know if you want to tell that story, but you know, it's up to you. But how did this whole concept of, oh, you know what, let's do a Borderlands game that's completely canon in the universe?
Yeah, so we're really big fans of Borderlands, and we love the guys at Gearbox. You were mentioning Claptrap. That's actually Gearbox's head of biz dev, is our good friend Dave Eddings. We've known the Gearbox guys for a long, long time. We've all sort of joked. We kind of joked about it. We all went out and won some crazy awards one night. Super proud of that. But we like to say, we went out, we had some tequila, and then 9 months later, this game appeared. And we're really proud of it. And those guys have just put a lot of time into this franchise over the last few years, and really just setting up to be expanded like this. They know every single weapon and item and where they come from and which planets they come from and what the people are like at the places where these things, exist, and what their kids are like and what kind of schools they went to. They kind of have this universe mapped out in this crazy, ever-expanding Bible. And guys like Matt Armstrong, the creator of Borderlands, Gearbox franchise director, we're working with him. Guys like Anthony Birch, and really just sort of getting the tone and the story of Tales right. And considering all the groundwork that they've laid to expand the Borderlands universe, it's something for us we see as basically as ripe as a universe as big as Star Wars, where you can tell any kind of story in this universe, and you can do any kind of game. And it was perfect for a Telltale game. It was a perfect opportunity to collaborate and work on an awesome, dark sci-fi action comedy. So we're really proud of it. We're stoked for it to premiere later this fall.
How does it feel going back to your comedic roots with how you guys did Sam and Max and those, coming from Walking Dead, not really the cheeriest of games?
Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, it's been a little dark, but luckily we're back to something cheery like Borderlands, and definitely all the sunshine and rainbows of Game of Thrones, which will also be premiering very soon, which is all happy times and no one dies. So it's a nice turn for us. So, but no, we're excited. It's whether it's a dark story or a comedy or something epic or something else, it's really just our love is storytelling. And when you play a Telltale game, we want you to play the story, and we just can't wait for you to play this story too. And we hope you laugh a little bit.
And you said the first episode's coming this fall.
It'll be premiering this fall. We don't have a date yet, but stay tuned. It'll be on consoles and phones and tablets and PCs and Macs and all over the place. So stay tuned. And then also, if you owners of Tales from the Borderlands will also be able to unlock some sweet unlocks in Gearbox and 2K's Borderlands the Pre-sequel.
Love me some good sweet unlocks.
We'll have more details on that soon, but yeah, it's a big year for Borderlands fans. We can't wait for everyone to play.
Well, I want to thank you for bringing us in, playing the game, and joining us today.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
You are only going to get yourselves killed. Or worse.